Rookie here. It's the Pat and JT podcast.
Pat and JT podcast.
Jill and I here in our matching softball uniforms, apparently.
What is going on? How is this possible?
Yeah. Now that the sun has changed a little bit, you can tell yours might be a little more purple than mine. Mine's more of a navy.
It's kind of it looks different on there than it does in person. Like it's more blue-green in person.
Okay.
Blue. I don't know.
Either way, it's too.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, looks like we got.
We popped in and was like, "Oh God." Really? Got the memo. Okay, we'll get that fixed up. So, anywho, yeah. So here we are. Made it through the weekend. Made it through a Husker hell.
Oh, good Lord.
Do you want to talk?
I mean, we just got pounded. Pounded. I don't know. I have no idea what to even say. Like that was rough all the way around. That was rough. I think I did hear some people talking after. I think Nick and Bo were talking afterwards about how losses like that can really help a young quarterback like that. How like Dylan Raiola, because you got to learn from that. If you don't have any adversity, you're not going to learn. So even though it's kind of a rough lesson, it can benefit him long term.
It's hard on everyone around him.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Is that and I what was it? The coach rule had said, "I'm sorry for anybody that paid to see that."
Yeah, and that paid to fly there to go there and see. I know. But also leading up to it, I don't think people really believed how good they are, how good Indiana is. I mean, Matt Schick on the Schick and Nick podcast last week said, "Listen, I'm telling you, I've watched 4 Indiana games this year. He's covered 2 or whatever." And he said they are a very, very good team. So who knows how far they're going to go, or if we're just not to where we thought we were yet.
Okay, now so they were ranked 15,
something like that.
So I didn't get to watch it because I was at an event this weekend, and funny, it was like a conference, and the audience got really thin. And everybody's like, "Where's everybody at?" And we go out to the lobby, and there's this outdoor screen and all this. And there's all our people sitting there watching this game, and they're all sucking their thumbs. And it was just like, "Oh my God, we're watching! Don't people come back in? Step away, Step away! Don't cover your eyes! Don't watch! Come back in." But some of the people that were there that were visiting were from Austin, and one of them is a huge Hook 'em Horns Texas fan. And they got their head handed to them on a platter, basically, by Georgia, right? So, and I'm looking at Nebraska, which we're very excited about the strides we've made. We are not ranked, or we weren't, right, going into this.
No,
close, like on the edges, tickling the edges. But when you realize how much the heat turns up to be ranked, and how good those teams really are that are in there. You realize that making that leap is going to be, and then you think back, oh God, 25 years ago or more, to when we were consistently at the top of the pile.
When we were the team that people are like, "Oh my gosh, we can't even step into the stadium with these guys."
Right? They're so good. They were so rock solid. then you see the degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the goal, okay, so they were 17th. Now they bumped up to 13 this week, be it by smashing us, Indiana. Yeah.
okay.
And then, the goal.
So we gave them a boost.
3.
So beating us gave them a boost. Beating
Yep.
us, then we should be proud of that.
Right.
Because obviously we were
that's kind of a, yeah.
Well, if
is that a
they lost places for beating us, that would be really bad.
That'd be really bad. Or stayed the same.
Yeah, so
true.
They did gain notches for beating us, so we can find some solace in that. I know it's a hard twist, but we can. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird, I don't know, but yeah, we'll take that. But we talked when Matt Rule came in. It's like this first season's going to be last season was going to be rough. Second season, let's become bowl eligible. We just need one more win for a bowl, and then that's that goal reached. And by third year, we should be rolling. So if we just need one more victory, then we hit that goal that everybody set. Let's get to a bowl.
That's right. That's a good point. Keep in mind what our goals were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And we know Ohio State is going to be hard, and now it's going to probably be harder.
Probably all the rest of the games are going to be hard, except maybe Iowa, but Iowa's still really good too. Yeah.
Yeah. And having this happen, it does kind of shake your confidence a little bit, or it can really get you pumped up because you see, and I'm sure for the players, they can see how they can cover that. For the average fan, it's like, oh my God, I'm a little nervous. But they may see it and say, okay. I see what we needed to do. I see where we went wrong. I see how we can be stronger, how we can be better. So fingers crossed moving forward. No more bye weeks. It's all hustle from here on out. We just got to make a bowl game.
Yeah.
That's all we got to do. Oh my God. Lord. So that was kind of like the big thing. And having that conference we tried to schedule it for a bye week. That's the funny part. It was my Rotary conference. It was our district conference that we had, which was huge and it was awesome. And it was amazing. Had people, our district, I'm going to just tell you all this. So this is my fluff piece on Rotary. Our district is everything like from southeast Nebraska and southwest Iowa. So you had Red Oak, Shenandoah, Council Bluffs. You had, York and Tacoma and, my God, I'm trying to think how far south, all the way down south, and Omaha and Lincoln and all their clubs and everything. So there's 38 clubs in the district. And so it was just a really cool time to get together and kind of, I guess, really celebrate what everybody's been doing over the year. And there were some awards presented and all kinds of good stuff. And Don Eccles spoke at our conference. He is the CEO and founder of Scooters, him and his wife.
He has a couple bucks.
He is like one of the most interesting dudes in the room, like without a doubt. And he just is so humble. They've got like over 800 stores. It's crazy.
That is crazy. And how fast they've grown in the last 20 years. Maybe even 10 years, 15 years.
He was talking about it, just a little high level view, I guess, really a 30,000 foot view of what he talked about. But when they started, Starbucks was already a thing, when they started 25 years ago.
And did they start in Omaha?
Yeah. Their first one was in Bellevue.
Okay.
And he's got so many life lessons that he learned out of this. But the really cool part is they just started this 25 years ago. He actually was a radio guy way back in the day, like one of his first jobs. And he went into radio and he ended up in, I think it was in Fairbanks. No, it wasn't Fairbanks. Nome, Alaska. Anyway, doing overnights.
Random. No.
And he told the story about, because he was young, he was married, he had 2 little kids, and he's doing overnights in Alaska. If that isn't a radio horror story.
Seriously, that is a total horror story. That's a you survived story right there.
Oh my God. And then he decided because as he put it, I was young and I thought I could. He rented a team of dogs and he entered the Iditarod.
Okay. Who does that? I guess.
And he figured he could win it. He didn't finish, but he learned a lot from it. But he wasn't able to finish. I mean, I think he went like 700 miles and it's like 1,500 miles total or something like that.
Nuts.
So he went quite a ways, like 7-9 days. It was crazy. But he told that little story and other things he tried before he found coffee, before he hit pay dirt with coffee, and coffee was just becoming a thing. Like seriously. And I didn't say this when we were talking, but at that point, I think Juan Valdez was leading the coffee chase, and Starbucks was trying to change people's worlds. And Juan Valdez was all about come home and sit down, have a cup of coffee at the, at the kitchen table with your family. Right.
Yep.
And they had the videos of Juan Valdez walking through the Colombian jungle with his donkey and collecting coffee beans. That was where coffee was. And now coffee culture is just insane. People at that time, he couldn't get people to loan him money to, like, hey, I want to build a little shack where people can drive through and grab a cup of coffee.
A $3 coffee. They're like,
$3 coffee.
It's free at home. Why would you do that?
Why would people do that? That's a losing proposition.
Same as, why would people pay $2 for a bottle of water? It's free in the tap.
Right? Marketing. And I did ask him this. I said, how many Fox photos did you revamp? He said, and I didn't know this, and a lot of people in the audience, thank you, I'm old, whatever. A lot of people in the audience, you could see the look like, what's a Fox photo? And I'm like, oh my God, you people don't remember dropping I remember Mom driving through and dropping off the film that we come back 2 weeks later to pick up the pictures at the Fox photo, or what were the other ones too?
There was Fox photo. There was just a Kodak one on 114th and Dodge. 2
or 3 different brands that had those film developing kiosk in the middle of a parking lot where you just drop it off.
Yeah.
He said, well, they can't build them like that anymore because you have to have a bathroom and running water in those buildings. I never thought about that. Those people that worked in those little buildings,
there must have had like a pee jar.
I don't know. They probably had to lock it up and run next door to the shoe shop or whatever weird little building was in the strip mall so they could go use their bathroom. They probably had an agreement with him. We'll develop your pictures for free if you let my employees come pee here. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God.
There's a photo mat was one.
That's it. Yeah. That was another one. Yeah. So you can't build them, and they were too small. They can't build them that size anymore. But anyway, so that's what, he's talked about starting that whole idea and how that got to be, and then talking about how he got there and all the other businesses he tried before they hit it with this, and then how they keep it growing. It was fascinating. He's just a neat guy.
I love hearing guys that humans that do something like that and turn a little idea into something huge. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was the whole, like the coffee, they had their own harvest roasting, I think it's called. So they do their own coffee. So they have complete control of the quality control from top to bottom. Yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, he was a lot of fun. So yeah, we were doing that. That was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just kind of rolling through, getting everything. Yeah, it was cool. It was a lot of fun. So I didn't pay attention to a lot of stuff that was going on in the outside world. The Husker game, once I found out, I looked at my phone a couple of times. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to look at that no more. Put that away. That was sad.
Yeah. You didn't miss much other than that. Like there wasn't not a lot.
It's crazy. There's just not a lot
between the political ads on TV and on politics just everywhere in this election. It's like there's not headspace for anybody to talk, think, or do anything else.
We're still 2 full weeks.
Yep. 2 weeks tomorrow.
2 more weeks of ads. I mean, I'm to the point where I mute them. I can't listen to them. I don't even care if I can't fast forward through them. Like it's on something that I recorded, but at the very least, I'll mute. I just don't want to even hear their voices anymore.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
I can't. You've reached my limit, and I'm to the point where I don't even want to vote for. I'm lucky I've already voted because I'm to the point where I hate you all.
And I don't know. Maybe it was like this 4 years ago, but I feel like it's way more of an emotional. I don't know how to put this. Like from the campaign ads coming at us are more from almost like an emotional, not begging, but I don't know what the
term on is. Your feelings. They're playing on your feelings.
It's more emotional than it's just like, I will do this. I will do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. It's more like, oh my gosh, what if this happens to me? What if this, in a whole bunch of different topics.
Yeah.
It's weird.
They're all about how, and that's the other thing. And I know we've talked about this before, but and a lot of people say the same thing. I'm tired of hearing candidates tell me how awful the other person is.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you got. I would be shocked if anybody would just like lay it out. This is what I'm going to do. And not because it makes me feel better. Not because, I get it. I understand. It's, it's tough. It's like, okay, we got that. But what are you actually going to do?
Right. Right. And
yeah,
but 90% of them,
they
I'll
can't.
say probably 100% of them, they'll tell you what they're going to do sometimes, but it's so like fantastic and people go, yay. And then it never happens because it never does, because
No
it's not just them making the decision. They've got to go through all this other, through
red tape.
Congress and everything. So they can't just say, they can say whatever they want.
Yeah, and they do.
And they do. They do. And then there's never like somebody that in 3 years, whoever's elected, like, hey, back when you were campaigning, you said you were going to do this, but you haven't even tried, or you haven't this, or you haven't that.
No, they're Teflon when it comes to that. Because if you start throwing those things out, they just like look right through the reporters or look through the people, and then they move on to the next subject.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, yeah. Okay, well, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah. It's really
That was last year. That was at the election. It was during the election.
yeah.
It was, you say what you say to get elected, and that's exactly how I feel. Is they say what they say to get elected, and then to hell with us.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely, 100%. And some of them, they'll say, well, we need to get these lifetime politicians out of Washington, and we need a businessman, we need a businesswoman, we need what? Good, awesome. That's great on paper, but good luck with that.
Who's going to, not to go down a political bent here, but the whole term limit thing, I used to be so wholly against it, but I've changed my stance completely on it.
Same.
But the problem is we'll never get it put in place because it literally affects the people that are voting for it. So they will never, and it won't get on the ballot for the people to vote for it because, we're not smart enough to vote for shit like that.
Yeah.
So
right.
we won't be able to vote ourselves for something like that. But they are never going to say, you know what? I should lose my job in 3 years.
Yeah. Of course not. If they weren't lifelong politicians making a lot of money, I get it that state representatives don't make a ton of money.
Right.
But I'm talking about national ones. Of course they're not going to do it. They're living the life right now. Why would they ever say, yeah, you're right, I need to stop this in 8 years or in 6 years or whatever it is?
Take my job away. My job away so someone else can have it. No, they're not going to do that.
No.
But yeah, 2 more weeks, and I am all about voting early if you can. Just because we've seen too many times shit happens.
Yeah.
And I just saw this weekend a friend of mine, as a matter of fact, I took the puppers to go stay with a friend, and she was putting in a generator at her house because she has who she is, Julie,
okay,
who has Good Decisions dog training. And that's where both Jack and Ted came from. And oh God, so many stories from that, just dropping them off and picking them up. But anyway, when I got there to drop them off, they were putting in a generator because this summer they had lost power during the storms for like 4 or 5 days. And she had a full house.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 100 degrees, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, we're not going through that again. And you know what? We have enough winter stuff, and we have enough other stuff has been happening lately. I want to know I have power. And I want to know I can keep the house warm or cold, whatever it needs to be. And so they're putting a whole house generator on us. Like, I think more people should do that.
Yeah. I think that storm kind of woke a lot of people up that, OPPD does the best that they can do to get people back online, but there's only so fast they can work.
Yeah. So it was interesting. They were putting that on at their house. Okay. Short story. When I take the dogs up, I've told the story before about the little white miniature poodle that I have that squeals every time I take him somewhere like a stuck pig.
Yeah.
And he just loses his mind and just tails wagging like crazy. He's so excited. I can't contain myself. He pulled that same little stunt when we showed up. And now he came from her. He had manners when I got him. So I have failed him. Somehow.
Yeah, you totally have.
And I don't know what I did or how it happened. But anyway, I walk in, I'm holding him, and it's like holding a baby that doesn't want to be held. And they're just stiff and their arms are out straight and they're screaming. That's what he was doing. She was looking at me and she's like, what is that? What happened? What is going? And I'm like, I said, Julie, I don't know. He does this every time I take him anywhere. Pet store, vet, drive down the road. He's losing his mind. And so I handed him to her. He's like a starfish, legs in all 4 directions. Just stiff.
You've got to video this at some point.
I don't know if I can now because I gave him to her and I said, I'm going to go get his stuff. And Jack was already in, so we were good. So let me go get their gear. So I ran back out to the car. I come back and he is calm, sitting on one of her platforms, laying on the platform, just right next to her, not doing anything. just quiet.
Did she drug
And I
him?
walked
Give
in
him a
and
little
said,
shot when you were gone?
right? I was like, what did you do to him? What did you do to him? And she just stood there. She just had this smug look on her face because she knew she found the key. But she, instead of telling me what she did, I remember his name is Teddy. She said, we had a TED Talk.
That's funny.
And he was a gentleman, and he's been a gentleman ever since. I brought him home yesterday, and he's like he got rewired. I don't know what happened, but
Just after one TED Talk?
and in 5 minutes. So she had an amazing weekend with him. So
It's like that Caesar Milan or
yes,
yeah.
the dog whisperer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not even 5 minutes, and I came back, and he was quiet and just looked complete. His eyes were rested, like you could see his eyes had relaxed. His whole body was relaxed, and he was just laying next to her, like, "Huh, heaven." And you little shit. So anyway,
that's impressive. I mean,
he was.
good.
Well, she's impressive. She is impressive. So that's why they go there. But anyway, I don't even know how I got to that.
Sounds like they need to go back like once a year for a tune-up, or at
I think
least Teddy.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be the right thing to do. Obviously, I failed him by not taking him back before.
Yeah, it's kind of like every human should just go to ongoing therapy just because.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Just a tune-up once in a while is all
Right.
you really need. So anyway, I don't know if there's anything. There's nothing. I literally was looking for stories, and I'm like, oh my God, if in the top 3 stories, one of them is about sister wives and Cody Brown, I'm not talking about any of this stuff.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing.
I didn't know they were even still around.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't ever watch a show, but yeah, it's still around and pretty big. Apparently,
That was one of the top 3 Google entertainment stories was sister wives. Cody Brown blames his exes for making him fall in love again.
What? He's a weirdo.
Not reading it. Yes, he is. And that's why he's on
With sister wives.
Sister Wives.
Yes.
So
Anybody who has multiple wives is a weirdo. I mean, just religious reasons aside,
yes.
you are whatever you want, whatever is to put on yourself, masochist, sadist, whatever. Why would you do that?
Masochist. Yes,
Yeah.
that would be it. That would be it. So
Except for my
So
wife,
I'm
of
not-
course. If there were
not
multiple, if there were 4 Beths, I'd have 4 Beths, but that's it. Other than that, no.
oh my God, nice caveat.
She doesn't listen to
That
podcasts.
was
so it doesn't matter.
lame, Pat.
Yeah, I
just
know.
stop.
She doesn't
Just
listen anyway. Are you kidding me?
well, now if her friends listen, they can tell her.
Yeah. All right.
Total kiss up right there. You
Yep.
must have done something really wrong.
No, I'm just smart. I'm just smart. That's all.
Preemptive.
Yeah.
Preemptive, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that's kind of where things are.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, you
Yeah.
know, there's always next week for Husker football, so we're excited about that. Not necessarily that it's Ohio State, but we haven't played the game yet. So
Well,
we'll
at
see.
least we're appropriately adjusted mentally, I think.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for watching. If you
Yeah.
are just listening, we do this every Monday around 11:30-ish. Have a great rate, review, and subscribe, and have a great rest of the day. See you later. Thanks for the support.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.